gentlemen, let's look at the midday movers in trade today. So firstly, we'll start with GMM Pfaudler. The stock is in lower circuit, and this is the stock is at the lowest level since August 7th, and it marks the biggest intraday percent fall, percent loss for the stock price since June 19. So that is something very interesting. And what is the reason behind this? Obviously, the promoter group is looking to sell up to 28% stake via OFS starting today and tomorrow. That's 22nd and 23rd September. Now, obviously, the promoters, Pfaudler Inc., Miller Machinery, as well as Urmi Patel, have proposed to sell around 25.7 lakh shares, which accounts to around 17.6% of the total equity and paid up capital. The remaining 10%, that's we're seeing up to 28, right? So the remaining 10% will be for oversubscription. But this is what is something that has triggered the stock fall, and that is why it's stuck in lower circuit today. Moving on to Jindal Steel and Power Limited, that's JSPL as we would call it. Now, on the back of the reports which are suggesting that the Ministry of Environment has said that the Sarda Mines EC is invalid and they must stop work there. This is something that has triggered the fall in the stock price. It's down as much as 3.5% in trade today. And despite the clarification given by GSPL, they spoke to ET now. They did say that all the transactions by the company were a part of the routine business activity, and all the transactions were had proper underlying assets. Despite that, we are seeing a fall in the stock price. It's down as much as 3.5% in trade. Moving on to HSIL. Now, this stock is actually buzzing in trade. It's up as much as 5%, and on the back of the news that the company last evening had approved the buyback of shares of around which is 66.67 lakh equity shares, and this is at a price of 105 per share. So that total amount of the aggregated amount for this is around 70 crores. And seeing this, we are seeing surely that is triggered the up move in the stock as well today. Now, moving on to Sri Renuka Sugar, one more stock which is buzzing in trade today. It's up 2.5% around, and the board has approved the allotment of around 21.17 lakh equity shares. The total aggregate amount for this would be 185 crore rupees, and this will be on a preferential basis allotment to the promoter Wilmer Sugar Holding, and that is why we're seeing the stock is surely buzzing in trade today. And lastly, I want to talk about Adani Group company, where the stocks are falling. For Adani Group, stocks are falling, and this is on the back of the reports that suggest that Bank of New York has flagged off suspicious transactions to Adani Group company from Seychelles, and that is the reason why we're seeing a trigger in the fall of most Adani stocks. If you go to see overall, they've fallen. Adani Enterprises declined as much as 7% in trade. Adani Greens has declined as much as 5%. Adani Gas is also down 5%. Adani Power is down as much as 2.57%. So, we have seen a sharp trigger on the back of this reports, though we have to wait for clarification. There's no clarification coming as yet, and this is according to reports, but this is something that has come in, and that is why the stock price is falling in trade.